Stick with me. Come on!
Hello guys, today I am going to review How to Train Your Dragon. This movie is a live action version of the famous animated film. The story follows Hiccup, a young Viking boy who lives on an island where people and dinosaurs are enemies. Hiccup is not the strongest fighter, but he is very smart and curious. One day, Hiccup meets a dragon called Toothless. Instead of killing him, Hiccup helps him. From this moment, a beautiful friendship begins between Hiccup and Toothless. Their bond becomes the heart of the movie. The movie looks amazing on the big screen. The dragon flying scene are very exciting and visually beautiful. The background music also makes many scenes feel more emotional. Every important moment feels powerful because of the music and visuals. The acting of the cast is also good. The actor playing Hiccup does a great job showing the character's fear, confidence, and growth. Toothless is still one of the most lovable characters in the entire story. Overall, How to Train Your Dragon is a fun, emotional, and entertaining movie that respects the original story while bringing it to life in a new way. Now let's talk more deeply about the story and the relationship between Hiccup and Toothless. The best thing about this movie is the friendship between Hiccup and Toothless. At the beginning, both are afraid of each other. Hiccup grows up hearing that dragons are dangerous, while Toothless has every reason to fear humans, but as they spend more time together, they slowly begin to trust each other. There are many scenes where Hiccup learns how Toothless behaves, what he likes, and how he communicates. These moments may seem simple, but they are very important because they build a strong connection between the two characters. The movie shows that understanding someone is much more powerful than fighting them. Another important character is Astrid. She is brave, skilled, and always ready for a challenge. At first, Astrid does not understand what Hiccup is doing, but as she learns the truth about Toothless, her opinion begins to change. The chemistry between Hiccup and Astrid feels natural and helps make the story more interesting. The movie also explores themes like trust, friendship, courage, and acceptation. These messages are presented in a simple way so both kids and adults can enjoy them. Instead of focusing only on action, the film spends time developing its character, which makes the emotional moment much stronger. The flying scene between Hiccup and Toothless are some of the highlights of the movie. When they fly through the sky together, you can truly feel their freedom and happiness. These scenes are not only exciting but also beautiful to watch. The visual effects make the dangers look realistic while still keeping the charm of the original animated version. As the story moves forward, Hiccup starts changing the way his people think about dangers. This is not easy because many Vikings have believed the same thing for generations. Watching Hiccup challenge old ideas and stand for what he believes in makes him a very inspiring character. By this point in the movie, it becomes clear that How to Train Your Dragon is not just about dragons and adventure, it is also a story about friendship, understanding, and finding the courage to do what is right, even when anyone else disagrees with you. Now let's talk about the world building and why this movie felt so special. The movie takes place on the island of Berk, a place where Vikings and Rangers have been enemies for many years. From the very first scene, the movie does a great job showing the lifestyle of the Vikings, the house, ship, costumes, and environment whole help create a believable world. Every location feels detailed and alive, making it easy for the audience to become fully involved in the story. One of the strongest parts of the movie is how to present the dangers. Every dragon has a different look, personality, and behavior. Some dragons are fast, some are powerful, and some are funny. Because of this, the dragons never feel like simple creatures, they feel like real characters with their own emotions and identities. Of course, the most memorable dragon is Toothless. Even though Toothless cannot speak, the movie gives him a lot of personality. Through his experience, movements, and reactions, the audience can understand actually what he is feeling. Sometimes he is playful, sometimes curious, and sometimes protective. This makes him one of the most lovable characters in the entire film. The relationship between Hiccup and his father, Stoic, is also an important part of the story. Stoic is a strong leader who wants his son to become a great Viking warrior. However, Hiccup is very different from other Vikings. He does not solve problems through fighting. Instead, he uses intelligence, kindness, and understanding. This difference creates conflict between father and son. A stoic believes he knows what he is best for Hiccup, while Hiccup is trying to follow his own path. Many viewers will connect with this part of the story because it feels very human and realistic. The movie shows that family members can disagree while still caring deeply for each other. Another thing I really liked is the pacing of the film. The movie knows when to slow down and focus on emotional moments, and it also knows when to deliver exciting action scene. Because of this balance, the story never feels boring. Every scene has a purpose and help move the story forward. The action sequences are also very entertaining. The dragon battles, training scene, and flying moments are all presented with great energy. However, what makes this scene even better is that they are connected to the character and their emotions. The action is not there just for spectacle. Is It's also helps develop the story. The cinematography deserves special praise as well. Many shots of the ocean, mountains, and sky look absolutely beautiful when Hiccup and Toothless fly together above the clouds. The movie creates a scene of wonder that is hard to forget. These scenes remind us why so many people fell in love with this story in the first place. The emotional impact of the movie is another reason why it works so well. There are moments of happiness, excitement, tension, and sadness because the audience becomes attached to the characters. These moments feel genuine rather than forced. The movie earns its emotional scene by spending time developing its character properly. What makes How to Train Your Dragon 2025 stand out from many other families movie is its message. The film teaches the fear often comes from misunderstanding. When people take the time to learn about each other, they can overcome hatred and build trust. These message feels just as relevant today as it did when the original story was first released. By this stage of the movie, viewers are fully invested in the journey of Hiccup, Toothless, Astrid, and Stoic. Their struggles, victories, and relationship make the story much more meaningful than a simple adventure film. It becomes a powerful story about friendship, family, courage, and believing in yourself even when nobody else understands your vision. Now, I want to talk about why this movie connects so strongly with the audience and why the journey of Hiccup feels so memorable. From the beginning of the film, Hiccup is shown as someone who does not fit into the world around him. Most Vikings believe that strength comes from fighting dragons, but Hiccup sees things differently. He is not the biggest warrior. He is not the strongest fighter, and he is not the person everyone expects him to be. Because of this, many people around him under- underestimate him. This is one reason why Hiccup becomes such a relatable character. Many people have experienced moments when others did not believe in them. Many people have feel different from those around them. The movie takes these feelings and turns them into an inspiring story about self-belief and determination. As Hiccup spends more time with Toothless, he begins to understand that dragons are not the monster everyone thinks they are. This discovery changes his entire perspective. Instead of seeing dragons as enemies, he starts seeing them as living creatures with emotions, fear, and personality. This idea becomes the foundation of the movie's message. The movie handles this transformation very well. Hiccup does not change overnight. He learns little by little through experience. Every interaction with Toothless teaches him something new. Because the growth feels natural, the audience can easily follow his journey and understand his decisions. One thing that impressed me was how expressive Toothless is throughout the movie. Even without speaking a single word, Toothless communicates so much through his eyes, body language, and reaction. Sometimes he behaves like a loyal friend, sometimes like a playful pet, and sometimes like a powerful dragon ready to protect the people he cares about. The friendship between Hiccup and Toothless becomes stronger with every scene. Their connection feels genuine because it is built on trust and mutual respect. Neither character controls the other, instead, they work together and learn from each other. This balance makes their relationship one of the strongest aspects of the entire film. Astrid also plays an important role in the story. She is determined, brave, and highly skilled. Unlike many supporting characters, Astrid has her own personality and motivations. As she learns more about Hiccup and Toothless, she becomes an important ally in their journey. The scene involving Astrid and Hiccup add their layer to the story. Their conversations help explore different viewpoints and show how people can change their opinions when they are willing to listen and learn. This makes their relationship feel meaningful rather than simply being include for the sake of the plot. The movie also does an excellent job creating tension, even though viewers may know the general direction of the story. The film keeps them invested through strong characters development and emotional storytelling. Every challenge feels important because it affects character that the audience genuinely cares about. Another major strength is the soundtrack. The music perfectly matches the emotions of each scene. During exciting flying sequence, the music feels uplifting and adventurous. During emotional moments, it becomes softer and more touching. The soundtrack helps elevate many scenes and makes them even more memorable. The visual effects are another highlight, creating realistic dragons while maintaining the charm of the original designs was a difficult challenge, but the movie succeeds remarkable well. The dragons look believable while still feeling magical. Every scale, movement, and flying sequence is patterned with impressive detail. The flying scene deserves special attention, where Hiccup and Toothless soar across the sky. The movie creates an incredible scene of freedom. These sequences are filled with energy, excitement, and beauty. They remind the audience why the bond between these two characters is so special. The movie also explores leadership throughout the story. Hiccup begins to demonstrate qualities that make him a true leader. He listens to other things carefully before acting and is willing to stand up for what he believes is right. Instead of leading through fear, he leads through understanding and compassion. A stoic represents a different style of leadership. He is strong, experienced, and protective, but he sometimes struggles to understand his own point of view. The relationship between Stoic and Hiccup becomes one of the most emotional parts of the movie because it shows how difficult it can be for parents and children to understand each other. As the story approaches its biggest moments, all of these characters' arc began coming together. The friendship, family relationship, personal struggles, and larger conflicts all contribute to a satisfying and powerful narrative. By this point, the audience is not just watching dragons fly across the screen, they are emotionally invested in the characters and their future. That is what makes How to Train Your Dragon 2025 such a successful adaptation. It delivers exciting action, beautiful visuals, a strong performance, emotional storytelling, and meaningful themes while staying true to the heart of the original story. It is a movie that can entertain children, teenagers, and adult at the same time, which is a very difficult achievement for any film. Now let's talk about the emotional depth of the movie and why it stays in your mind long after it ends. One of the biggest reasons why How to Train Your Dragon 2025 works so well is because it understands the greatest stories are not only about action and adventure. It is a core. This movie is about people trying to understand each other, whether it is Hiccup trying to understand Toothless, a Stoic trying to understand Hiccup, or the Vikings trying to understand dinosaurs, dragons. Every important relationship in the story is built around this idea. The movie constantly reminds us what fear often comes from a lack of knowledge. The Vikings have spent years believing that dragons are dangerous creatures that must be defeated. Because of this belief, generations after generation grow up with the same mindset. Nobody stops to question whether this idea are actually true. Hiccup becomes the first person willing to look beyond those assumptions. This decision completely changed his life. Instead of following the path that everyone expects him to follow, Hiccup chooses a different direction. This requires a lot of courage because standing against tradition is never easy. People naturally want acceptance from their families and communities. When someone challenges long held beliefs, they often face criticism, doubt, and resistance. The movie portrays these struggles in a very realistic way. Hiccup does not instantly convince everyone that he is right. He faces obstacles and difficult choices. There are moments when his decision create conflict, and there are times when he feels completely alone. These moments make his journey feel authentic and emotionally powerful. Toothless is equally important in making this story work. He is much more just he is much more than just a dragon companion. Toothless represents trust, loyalty, and friendship. The relationship between Hiccup and Toothless grew naturally because both characters help each other overcome their weakness. At first, Toothless is injured and unable to fly properly. Hiccup helps him regain his ability to fly. At the same time, Toothless helps Hiccup discover confidence and purpose in his own life. This mutual support creates one of the strongest friendships seen in modern family films. The movie spends a lot of time developing this friendship, and that investment pays off later in the story. Because viewers have watched these characters grow together, every victory feels rewarding and every emotion moment carries real weight. The audience is not simply observing the friendship, they are experiencing it alongside the characters. Another aspect that deserves praise is the balance between humor and emotion. Many family moves struggles to find the balance. Some become too serious, while others rally too heavily. One jokes How to Train Your Dragon 2015 managed to combine both elements effectively. Funny moments help keep the story entertaining, while emotional scenes ensure that the characters remain meaningful. The supporting cast also contributes significantly to the overall experience. Characters like Astrid are not simply background figures, they each have their own personalities, strength, and perspective. Their presence makes the world feel larger and more believable. Astrid, in particular, serves as an important character because she challenges Hiccup while also supporting him. Their interactions feel natural and believable. Instead of agreeing with everything immediately, Astrid gradually learns to see the world from Hiccup perspective. This development makes her character more interesting and realistic. The movie message about empathy is another reason why it resonates with audience. Empathy means trying to understand how another people feels. Throughout the story, Hiccup demonstrates empathy toward characters that everyone else fears. This willingness to understand other become his greatest strength. Many heroes in movies are defined by physical power, but Hiccup is different. His greatest weapon is his ability to listen, learn, and think differently. This makes him a refreshing protagonist. He succeeds not because he is the strongest warrior, but because he is willing to question old beliefs and search for better solutions. The visual storytelling also deserves recognition. The filmmakers use facial expressions, body language, and environmental details to communicate emotional without always relying on dialogues. This approach makes many scenes more impactful because viewer can feel what the character are explaining without needing everything explained through words. The scene featuring Hiccup and Toothless flying together remains some of the most breathtaking moments in the movie. This sequence symbolizes freedom, trust, and possibility. Every time they track to the sky, the audience is reminded of how far both characters have come since their first meeting. As the story continues, the stakes become larger and the challenges become more dangerous. However, the movie never loses sight of its emotional core. No matter how spectacular the action becomes, the focus always remains remains on the relationship between the characters. This is what spectaculars the movie from any other adventure films. By the final stage of the story, viewers have witnessed an incredible transformation. Hiccup grows from an uncertain young boy into a confident leader. Toothless becomes more than a dragon, he becomes a symbol of friendship and understanding. The Stoic learns valuable lesson about trust and acceptation. Even the Viking community begins to change its way of thinking. All of these development combine to create a deeply satisfying narrative. The movie is exciting, funny, emotional, inspiring, and visually stunning. It respects the spirit of original story while presenting in a fresh and engaging way for a new generation of viewers. For me, How to Train Your Dragon 2025 is much more than a simple fantasy adventure. It is a story about understanding others, challenging fear, building trust, and discovering who you truly are. These universal themes are what make the movie memorable and ensure that audience will continue talking about it for years to come. Now I want to talk about the overall impact of the movie and why it deserves so much appreciation in today's film industry. Many live action remakes are released every year. Some of them are successfully while others fail to capture the magic of their original version. This is why many fans were worried when How to Train Your Dragons 2025 was announced. People loved the animated movies so much that expectations were extremely high. Unfortunately, this movie understands what made the original story special. Instead of changing everything, it focused on pursuing pursuing the heart and soul of the story. The filmmakers clearly respect the source material and understand why audience connected this these characters in the first place. The biggest strength of the movie remains the journey of Hiccup. At the beginning of the story, he feels like a outsider. He wants to make His father is stoic, proud, but he struggles to fit into Viking society. Everyone around him seems stronger, faster, and more confident. Because of this, Hiccup often doubts himself. This feeling of self doubt is something many viewers can relate to. Most people have experienced moments when they feel different or misunderstood. The movie uses these emotions to create a protagonist who feels human and believable. Hiccup is not perfect, and that is actually what makes him such a compelling character. As the friendship with Toothless develops, Hiccup begins discovering a strength that he never knew he had. He learns that leadership is not about being the strongest person in the room. True leadership comes from understanding others, making difficult decisions, and standing up for what is right. This lesson becomes increasingly important as the story progresses. Every challenge forces Hiccup to grow. Every obstacle teaches him everything new. By the end of the journey, he has transformed into someone capable of inspiring an entire community. Toothless is equally important to this transformation. The bond between Hiccup and Toothless is not built through dramatic speeches or complicated plot devices. It is built through trust, patience, and shared experience. This simplicity is what makes their friendship so powerful. Many scenes between Hiccup and Toothless contain very little dialogue, yet they communicate so much emotion. A simple look, a simple gesture, or a quiet moment between them often say more than words ever could. This is a sign of a strong storytelling because the audience can understand the characters without constant explanations. Another reason the movie works so well is its emotion honesty. The film does not try to manipulate the audience with forced drama. Instead, it allows emotional moments to develop naturally through the characters and their relationship. Because of this approach, the emotional scene feel earned rather than artificial. The relationship between Hiccup and Stoic deserves special attention as well. At its core, this relationship is about two people who love each other but struggle to understand one another. Stoic wants the best for his son, but his accepted expectations sometimes prevent him from seeing who Hiccup truly is. The conflict adds a layer of maturity to the story. It reminds viewers that family relationships are often complicated. People can care deeply about one another while still disagreeing. Watching a story and Hiccup gradually move toward understanding creates some of the movie's most touching moments. The world of a Burke also feels incredibly impressive. Every location is filled with detail. The village feels like a real community where people live, work, and struggle together. The filmmakers pay attention to small details that help make the setting feel authentic. This attention to detail extends to the dragon as well. Each dragon species feel unique. Their designs, movements, and behaviors help them stand apart from one another. Instead of feeling like generic fantastic creatures, they feel like living animals with their own personalities. The action sequences are exciting, but they never overshadow the story. Every major action scene serves a purpose within the narrative, whether it is a training exercise, a dramatic confrontation, or a large scale battle. The action always contribute to character development and emotional stakes. The flying scene reminds some of the most unforgettable moments in the entire movie. This sequence captures a scene of freedom that few films manage to achieve. As Hiccup and Toothless shot, shot through the sky. Viewers feel like they are flying alongside them. The combination of visuals, music, and emotional creates pure cinematic magic. Speaking of music, the soundtrack plays a crucial role in shaping the audience experience. Great music can elevate a good scene into a memorable one, and this movie understands that perfectly. The score enhances the adventure, excitement, and emotion without ever becoming distracting. One of the most impressive achievements of the movie is its ability to appeal to different generations. Young viewer can enjoy the dangers, action, and humor, while older audience can appreciate the deeper themes and emotional storytelling. Create a film that works for such a wide audience is not easy, but How to Train Your Dragon 2025 managed it successfully. The theme explored throughout the movie are timeless: friendship, trust, courage, acceptance, empathy, and personal growth are ideas that remain relevant regardless of age or background. These themes give the story a lasting emotional value that extends for beyond its fantasy setting. Perhaps the greatest achievement of the movie is that it encourages viewers to question their assumptions. It reminds us that people and creatures are often misunderstood. Fear can create division, while understanding can create connection. This message is delivered in a way that feels natural rather than preachy, making it even more effective. By the time the movie reaches its final moments, the audience has experienced a complete emotion journey. They have launched flood excitement, experienced tension, and shared in the characters' triumphs and struggles. This emo- this emotional investment is what makes the ending feel so satisfying. When I look at How to Train Your Dragon 2025 as a whole, I see a movie that succeeds in nearly every area. It has strong characters, meaningful relationship, beautiful visuals, exciting action, memorable music, and powerful themes. More importantly, it understands that the heart of the story has always been the friendship between Hiccup and Toothless. That friendship remains one of the most beautiful relationships in modern fantasy cinema. It reminds us that true understanding begins when we stop judging others based on fear and start seeing them for who they really are. And that message is what makes How to Train Your Dragon 2025 such a special and unforgettable experience. Now, after talking about the story, characters, action, visual, and themes, I want to discuss why How to Train Your Dragon 2025 feels like more than just a movie. It feels like a experience that stays with the audience long after the credits finish rolling. One thing that immediately stands out is how carefully the movie handles its characters. In many adventure films, characters exist mainly to move the plot forward. Here, however, every important character feels like a real person with fears, dreams, strength, and weakness. Because of this, the audience become emotionally connected to them very quickly. Hiccup is a perfect example of this. At the start of the movie, he is a young villain who constantly feels like he does not belong. He wants respect from the people around him, especially from his father, Stoic, but he struggles to earn it. The movie takes its time showing these feelings instead of rushing through them. This allows viewers to truly understand what Hiccup is going through. His journey is not simply about becoming a hero, it is about discovering his identity. Throughout the story, Hiccup learns that being different is not a weakness. In fact, the quality that make him different are the same quality that eventually make him a great leader. This message is powerful because many people spend years trying to fit in when their uniqueness is actually their greatest strength. The movie also explores the idea of change. Change is often difficult because it requires people to challenge beliefs that they have accepted for a long time. The Vikings of Burke have spent generations fighting dragons. To them, dragons are enemies. This belief is deeply rooted in their culture and history. When Hiccup discovers the truth about Toothless, he realizes that the movie is great. The friendship between Hiccup and Toothless serves as the emotional foundation of the entire story. Their relationship develops slowly and naturally. There is no intense trust. There is no magical solution. Instead, both characters gradually learn to depend on one another. This gradual development is one reason why their friendship feels so authentic. Every shared experience strengthens their bond. Every challenge they overcome together makes their relationship more meaningful. By the middle of the movie, it becomes impossible to imagine one character without the other. Toothless is particularly remarkable because the communicates so much without speaking through body language, facial expressions, and behavior. The filmmakers create a character who feels alive. Audiences understand his emotions even when he say nothing. Achieving this level of non-verbal storytelling is extremely impressive. Another another aspect worth discussing is the movie emotional balance. The story contains moments of joy, excitement, fear, sadness, and hope. These emotions never feel forced because they emerge naturally for the from the characters and situations. The audience is allowed to experience the full emotional spectrum alongside the characters. The relationship between Hiccup and Stoic adds another layer of emotional complexity. At first, Stoic struggles to understand his son because Hiccup does not fit the traditional image of a Viking warrior. This creates tension between them, but it also creates opportunity for growth. What makes this relationship compelling is that neither character is completely right or completely wrong. Both care deeply about each other. Both want what they believe is best. Their conflict comes from misunderstanding rather than hatred. This makes their interactions feel realistic and emotionally powerful. Astrid also deserves recognition for a role in the story. She is intelligent, capable, and determined rather than exciting only to support Hiccup. She has her own goals and opinions. Her development throughout the film adds depth to the narrative. The visual presentation of the movie is another major achievement. Every frame is designed with care. The landscape feels vast and beautiful. The sky feels endless. The ocean feels powerful. Together, these elements create a world that audience want to explore. The dragons themselves are brought to life through outstanding visual effects. Creating believable dragons is not easy, especially in live action cinema. Yet the movie succeeds by making each dragon feel unique and realistic while preserving the charm that made them memorable in the animated version. Of course, no discussions of the movie would be complete without maintaining the flying sequence. These scenes are among the most spectacular moments in modern fantasy filmmaking. Watching Hiccup and Toothless guide through the could create a scene of freedom that few movies can match. The soundtrack enhance this moment beautifully. Music as the power of transformation, and the score has exactly that. During action scene, he builds excitement. During emotional scene, it depends the impact. During flying sequence, it creates a feeling of wonder and adventure. As the story processes toward its climax, the emotional stakes continue to rise. The characters are forced to make difficult decisions, relationships are tested, beliefs are challenged. Every major event feels important because the audience genuinely cares about the outcome. This emotional investment is the result of strong storytelling. The movie never relies slowly on action or visual spectacle. Instead, it focuses on character development and meaningful relationships. As a result, every dramatic moment carries real emotional weight. What I admire most about How to Train Your Dragon 2025 is its sincerity. The movie never feels cynical or artificial. It believes in its character, its theme, and its message. That sincerity allows audience to connect with the story on a deeper level. In the end, the movie delivers an inspiring message about understanding, acceptance, and courage. It reminds us that true strength is not measured by physical power alone. True strength comes from kindness, empathy, and the willingness to stand up from what is right even when it is difficult. That is why How to Train Your Dragon 2025 works so well. It is not just a story about Vikings and dragons, it is a story about friendship, family, trust, personal growth, and the power of seeing the world through a different perspective. These themes make the movie meaningful, memorable, and worth of all the praise it has received from audience around the world. Now I want to spend some time talking about what makes How to Train Your Dragons 2025 such a memorable cinematic experience, and why it continues to connect with audience for all ages. Many fantasy movies focus mainly on creating large battles, powerful villains, and exciting action sequence. While How to Train Your Dragon 2025 certainly contains those elements, its greatest strength lies somewhere else. Its true strength comes from its heart. The movie understands that audience remember characters and emotional far longer than they remember action scene. From the very beginning, Hiccup feels different from everyone around him. He grew up in a society where bravery is measured by how well someone fights dangerous dragons. Because he does not naturally fit that image, many people underestimate underestimate him. Some see him as weak, others see him as strange. Even Hiccup sometimes struggles to believe in himself. The internal conflict becomes one of the most important parts of the movie. Hiccup is constantly trying to figure out who he is and where he belongs. He wants acceptance, but he also wants to remain true to himself. This struggle feels incredibly realistic because many people experience similar feeling while growing up. When Toothless enters his life, everything begins to change. What starts as a chance encounter slowly develops into one of the strongest friendship in modern fantasy storytelling. Their relationship is built step by step through patience, trust, and understanding. One of the reason audience love Toothless so much is because he feels like a genuine character rather than just a visual effect. His reaction moments and experience communicate emotion so effectively that viewers quickly become attached to him, whether he is curious, playful, nervous, or protective. Every emotion feels believable. The filmmakers deserves enormous credit for achieving this, creating a creature that cannot speak and still making audience understand exactly what it is feeling require ex, ex, accept, exceptional storytelling skill. Toothless becomes a character that viewers care about as deeply as many human characters in the movie. As Hiccup and Toothless spend more time together, they begin helping each other overcome their weakness. Hiccup helps Toothless regain confidence and freedom, while Toothless helps Hiccup discover courage and self belief. Their friendship is based on mutual respect, which is why it feels so powerful. The movie also examines the relationship between individuals and society. Throughout the story, Hiccup is forced to challenge traditions that have existed for generations. Doing so is extremely difficult because traditional often become deeply connected to people identities. Questioning those traditional can create resistance, fear, and conflict. What makes Hiccup admirable is that he does not change these ideas for personal gain. He challenges them because he believes there is a better way. His actions come from empathy and understanding rather than anger. This makes him a unique and inspiring hero. The relationship between Hiccup and Stoic continue to evolve throughout the movie. Their journey together highlights one of the film's most important themes. Communicate many of their problems come from assumptions and misunderstandings. As they being listening to each other more carefully, their relationship becomes stronger. This theme is relevant not only within the story but also in real life. Many conflicts occur because people make judgment before to fully understand one another. The movie encourages viewers to listen, learn, and approach others with empathy. Astrid serves as another important example of personal growth. At first, she views situation through a very traditional lens. However, as she gains new experience, her perspective chances. This evolution feels natural because it happens gradually rather than suddenly. The world building deserves praise as well, but feels like a living, breathing community rather than a simple movie set. Every location contains details that helps bring the world to life. The architecture, clothing shifts, and daily routines all contribute to the scene of authenticity. The dragons add even more richness to this world. Each species has its own design, behavior, and personality. This diversity makes the world feel larger and more believable. Viewers get the impression that countless stories exist beyond the event shown on screen. Visually, the movie is stunning. The landscapes are breathtaking, the flying sequences are exhilarating, and the special effects blend seamlessly with the live action environment. Every frame demonstrates the care and ca- ca- craftsmanship that went into the production. The flying scene deserve special recognition because they capture something that is difficult to describe. They create a feeling of pure freedom as Hiccup and Toothless soar across the sky. Audience experience a scene of wonder that few movies are capable of delivering. This scene reminds us why cinema can be such a powerful medium. The soundtrack amplifies this feeling even further. Music and visual work together perfectly, creating moments that feel both exciting and emotional. Some scenes become unforgettable, largely because of how effectively the score supports the storytelling. As the narrative approaches its later stage, the stakes become increasingly significant. Characters must confront difficult trust, friendship are tested, families face challenges, community are forced to reconsider beliefs that have saved their lives for years. Yet, despite all of these larger conflicts, the movie never loses sight of this emotional core. Everything ultimately comes back to relationship, the friendship between Hiccup and Toothless, the bond between Hiccup and Stoic, the connection formed throughout Berg remain at the center of the story. This focus on relationship is what gives the movie lasting emotional power. Audience do not simply remember the action scene or visual effects, they remember how the characters made them feel. They remember moments of friendship, trust, sacrifice, and growth. By the time the story reaches its most important moments, viewers have become fully invested in every character. Their victories feel satisfying, their losses feel heartbreaking, their growth feels meaningful. Achieving this level of emotional engagement is one of the greatest accom- accomplishment any movie can achieve. Looking at the film as a whole, it succeeds because it combines spectacle with substance. It delivers action while also delivering emotion. It entertains while also teaching valuable lesson. It tells a fantasy story while exploring deeply human themes. That balance is extremely difficult to achieve. Yet, How to Train Your Dragon 2025 manages it beautifully. The result is a movie that feels exciting, emotional, inspiring, thoughtful, and unforgettable. It is the kind of film that reminds audience why stories matter and why Why great characters can stay with us long after the screen goes dark. Now, as we get closer to the conclusion of the review, I want to talk about the lasting legacy of this story and why How to Train Your Dragon 2025 succeed as a both remake and a powerful standalone movie. One of the hardest challenges for many adaptation is satisfying to different groups of viewers at the same time. On one side, there are long-time fans who grew up watching the original animated movie. On the other side, there are new viewers who may be experiencing this story for the very first time. Balancing these expectations is never easy. What makes How to Train Your Dragon 2025 impressive is that is respect both audiences. Fans of the original story can recognize the characters, themes, and emotional moments that made the franchise so beloved. At the same time, newcomers can enjoy the movie without needing any previous knowledge. The story remains accessible, engaging, and emotionally satisfying on its own. The emotional strength of the film comes from its commitment to character development. Every major character experience growth throughout the story. Hiccup learns to trust his instinct. Toothless learns to trust humans. Stoic learns to see the world through a new perspective. Astrid learns that true strength sometimes comes from understanding rather than fighting. These character arcs are carefully developed over time. The movie does not rush important moments. Instead, it allows viewers to experience each step of journey. The patience makes the emotional payoffs much more effective. One aspect that deserves particular praise is the movie treatment of fear. Fear is one of the most powerful emotional people experience. Fear can divide communities, create misunderstanding, and prevent people from seeing the truth. Throughout the film, many characters are influenced by fear without even realizing it. Hiccup challenges this fear by choosing curiosity or judgment rather than accepting what he has been told. He decides to learn for himself. This decision becomes a catalyst for everything that follows. It demonstrates that progress often begins when someone is brave enough to question assumption. This message is especially meaningful because it applies to real life as much as it applies to fantasy. People, people often fear what they do not understand. The movie encourages viewers to approach familiar situations with empathy, patience, and a open mind. These values remain relevant regardless of as culture or background. The friendship between Hiccup and Toothless perfectly represents this idea. At first, they see each other as enemies because that is what they have been taught. Over time, they learn that those beliefs are incomplete. By getting to know one another, they discover trust, respect, and friendship. This transformation is portrayed beautifully throughout the movie. Small moments often carry as much emotional weight as major action scene. A simple glance, a quiet interaction, or a shared moment of understanding can sometimes be more powerful than an entire battle sequence. The filmmakers clearly understand this principle. Instead of railing slowly on spectacle, they focus on emotional storytelling. This approach creates a strong connection between the audience and the characters. Viewers become invested because they care about what happens to these individuals. Another impressive element is the movie visual love language. The filmmakers use lighting, landscape, and camera movement to reinforce emotional and themes. Bright sky often represent hope and freedom. Darker environments create tension and uncertainty. These visual choices help strengthen the storytelling without needing additional dialogue. The flying sequence continue to stand out as some of the movie's most iconic moments. These scenes capture a scene of adventure that new films can match. Every fight feels like a celebration of freedom, discovery, and possibility. Watching Hiccup and Toothless show through the clouds remains one of the most joyful experiences in the entire film. The soundtrack elevates these moments even further. Music serves as an emotional guide throughout the story, helping viewers connect with the characters and events on a deeper level. Whether the scene is exciting, emotional, or triumphant, the score always enhances the experience. As the narrative builds toward its final chapters, the movie becomes increasingly powerful. The themes introduced earlier in the story being coming together, ideas about trust, family, acceptance, leadership, and understanding all reach their natural conclusions. The most satisfying aspect of the film is that these conclusions feel earned. The characters succeed because they grow, learn, and make difficult choices. Nothing feels handed to them. Every victory is the result of effort, sacrifice, and perseverance. This makes the ending particularly rewarding. Audience feel a sense of accomplishment because they have shared the entire journey with the characters. They have witnessed failure, failures, setbacks, success, and personal transformations. By the end, the character feel like old friends. Another reason the movie resonates so strongly is its optimism. While the story contains danger and conflict, is ultimately believe in the possibility of change. It suggested that people can overcome prejudice, learn from their mistake, and build a better future together. This hopeful outlook gives the movie a timeless quality. The lesson it teaches are not limited to one generation. Future audiences will likely connect with the same themes that resonate with viewers today. That is one reason the story has remained popular for so many years. From a filmmaking perspective, the movie demonstrates a high level of craftsmanship. The performances are strong, the visual effects are impressive, the production design is detailed, and the storytelling remains focused on character and emotional. Every department contributes to the overall success of the project. When all of these elements come together, the result is sometimes special. How to Train Your Dragon 2025 becomes more than a fantasy adventure. It becomes a story about understanding others, embracing differences, and finding the courage to follow your own path. This is why the movie leaves such a strong impression long after the action scene or over the credits have finished rolling, audience continue talking about Hiccup, Toothless, Astrid, and Stoic. They remember the friendship, the license, the emotional moments, and the feeling of wonder that the movie creates. Very few films manage to balance entertainment, emotional adventure, humor, and meaningful storytelling as successful as How to Train Your Dragon to 2025. It is a movie that respects its audience, respects its source material, and delivers a unforgettable experience from beginning to end. Before I finish this review, I want to talk about something that makes How to Train Your Dragon 2025 truly special. A lot of movies can entertain people for 2 hours, but only a few movies can make people feel connected to the characters and remember them for years. This movie belongs to that category. Throughout the entire story, the movie keeps reminding us that real strength is not always about power. Sometimes real strength comes from kindness, understanding, patience, and courage to do what others are afraid to do. This idea is represented perfectly through Hiccup. At the start of the movie, Hiccup is seen as someone who does not fit into Viking society. Many people around him believe he is weak because he does not behave like a traditional warrior. However, as the story moves forward, viewers realize that his different way of thinking is actually his greatest strength. This makes Hiccup one of the most inspiring characters in the modern fantasy storytelling. He teaches us that being different is not sometimes to be ashamed of. In many cases, the things that make us different are the very things that make us special. Toothless also plays a hug role in delivering this message. The friendship between Hiccup and Toothless is built on trust, loyalty, and understanding. They come from completely different worlds, yet they form a bond stronger than anything either of them expected. What makes this friendship so powerful is that it feels earned. The movie spends time developing their relationship. Every interaction matters, every challenge helps strengthen their connection. By the end of the film, their friendship becomes the emotional heart of the entire story. Another reason this movie succeeds is because it never forgets the importance of hope. Even when situations seem impossible, the story continues to believe that people can change. The Vikings of work spent years living with fear and misunderstanding, but they eventually learn that the world is much larger and more complicated than they originally believed. This message about growth and acceptance is one of the most meaningful aspects of the movie. It reminds audience that learning new things can change our lives. It encourages viewers to keep a open mind and avoid judging others too quickly. The emotional scenes are especially effective because they are supported by strong characters development. The audience care about the happiness because they have spent so much time with these characters. Their struggles feel real, the victories feel deserved, their relationship feel genuine. The relationship between Hiccup and Stoic is a perfect example. Their journey together is filled with misunderstanding, disappointment, hope, and love. Watching them slowly understand each other creates some of the most touching moments in the entire movie. Astrid also continues to be an important part of the story. Her bravery, determination, and loyalty help strengthen the narrative. She is not simply following Hiccup, she is growing and learning alongside him. Visually, the movie remains spectacular from beginning to end. The dragons look incredible, the landscape are beautiful, and the flying sequences are breathtaking. Every major scene feels carefully crafted to create a scene of adventure and wonder. The visual effects deserve enormous praise because they help bring these fantastic creatures to life in a valuable way. Viewers never feel disconnected from the dragons because they are presented with so much personality and emotion. The soundtrack is another major highlight. Music plays a important role in shaping the emotional atmosphere of the movie. Whether the scene is exciting, emotional, or inspiring, the score helps make every moment feel more powerful. One thing I really appreciate is how balanced the movie feels. It has action, humor, adventure, emotion, and meaningful themes. Some movies focus too much on spectacle, while others focus too much on drama. How to Train Your Dragon 2025 managed to combine both elements successfully. As a result, the movie appeals to a wide audience. Younger viewers can enjoy the dragon and action scene. Older viewers can appreciate the deeper themes about family, leadership, empathy, and personal growth. This balance is one of the reasons the story has remained so popular over the years. When I think about the movie as a whole, I see a story about friendship, trust, courage, understanding, and believing in yourself. These themes are universal, which is why audience from different backgrounds can connect them with them. Very few movies manage to create characters that people genuinely care about. Even fewer movies create relationships that feel this authentic. The bond between Hiccup and Toothless is one of the strongest friendship even shown in a fantasy film, and it remains the reason why this story continues to touch so many hearts. For me, how to Train Your Dragon 2025 is not just a successful remake, it is a celebration of everything that made the original story great. It captures the emotion, adventure, humor, and heart that fans loved while introducing the story to a new generation. If you enjoy fantasy, adventure, emotional storytelling, memorable characters, and beautiful visuals, then this movie is definitely worth watching. It delivers excitement, emotion, and meaningful lesson all at the same time. My final rating for How to Train Your Dragon 2025 is 9 out of 10. It is a wonderful adaptation, a powerful story about friendship, and one of the most enjoyable family adventure movies of recent years. And that's it for today's review. Now, even after talking about so many aspects of the movie, I still feel there is a lot of discuss because How to Train Your Dragon 2025 is the kind of film that offers more than just entertainment. The deeper you think about it, the more meaningful its story becomes. One thing that stands out immediately is how carefully the movie develops its theme. Many films tell audience that what they should feel, but this movie allows viewer to discover its message naturally through the experiences of the characters. Instead of relying long speeches about friendship or acceptation, expectance, it shows these ideas through action and relationship. The journey of Hiccup is the perfect example of this approach. At the beginning, he believes that become a hero means proving himself through traditional Viking methods. He wants people to respect him and he wants his father Stoic to be proud on him. However, as the story unfolds, Hiccup realize that true greatness comes from understanding other rather than defeating them. This realization completely changed his life. Instead of becoming the warrior everyone expects him to be, he becomes sometimes much more important. He becomes a bride between two words that have spent generations fearing each other. That role require wisdom, empathy, patience, and courage. What makes this transformation so powerful is that it feels believable. Hiccup does not suddenly become confident overnight. He makes mistakes, he faces setbacks, he struggles with doubt. These challenges make his victories feel much more rewarding because audience know how hard he worked to earn them. The movie also spends a great deal of time exploring the concept of trust. Trust is not something that can be built instantly. It takes time, effort, and consistency. The friendship between Hiccup and Toothless demonstrate this idea perfectly. At first, neither character know whether then they can rely on the other. Both have reason to be cautious, yet through repeated acts of kindness and understanding, they gradually build a connection that becomes unbreakable. Watching this process unfold is one of the most satisfying parts of the entire movie. Ruthless remains a extraordinary character. Despite never speaking, he communicates more emotion than many characters who have hundreds of lines of dialogues. His expression, reaction, and body language tell audience every they need to know. Sometimes Toothless is playing a curious, sometimes he is protective and brave, sometimes he is vulnerable and afraid. Because viewers can understand these emotions so clearly, they quickly become attached to him. This emotional connection is one of the reasons the movie works so well. Another impressive aspect is how the story handles conflict. The villains and obstacles are important, but the movie understands that the most interesting conflicts often happen within characters themselves. Hiccup struggles with self-doubt, Stoic struggles with his expectations, Astrid struggles with changing her perspective. These internal conflicts make the character feel human. Viewers can relate to them because everyone experiences uncertainty and personal challenges at some point in life. The movie uses this experience to create emotional depth that goes far beyond a typical adventure story. The theme of expectations is actually important throughout the movie. Characters learn that people and creatures should not be judged slowly by appearance or reputation. Many of the assumption that the Vikings told about dragons turn out to be incorrect. This lesson feels incredibly relevant because it reflects situations that occur in the real world. People often form opinions before fully understanding others. The movie encourages viewers to move beyond this assumption and approach others with empathy and curiosity. Visually, the film continues to impress at every stage. The landscape are breathtaking, the dragon design are imaginative, and the action sequences are exciting without becoming overwhelming. Every scene feels carefully crafted to support the story and characters. The flying sequence deserve endless praise because they capture something that is different to put into words. They create a feeling of possibility as Hiccup and Toothless fly across the sky. Viewers are reminded that there is a larger world waiting to be explored. These scenes symbolize more than just physical fight. They represent freedom from fear, freedom from expectations, and freedom to become the person you were meant to be. This deeper meaning is one reason why these moments remain so memorable. The soundtrack contributes, you know, enormously to this experience. Great music has the ability to enhance emotions, and the score in this movie does exactly that. Whether the scene is joyful, dramatic, emotional, or triumphant, the music helps elevate every moment. As the narrative progresses, the audience becomes increasingly invested in the characters. Their success feel personal, their failures feel painful, their growth feels inspiring. This emotional engagement is the result of thoughtful storytelling and strong character development. One of the movie's greatest strength is its sincerity. It never feels like it is trying too hard to impress the audience. Instead, it focus on telling a heartfelt story with honesty and care. This sincerity allows viewers to connect with the film on a deeper emotional level. Even after the movie ends, its themes continue to resonate with audiences. The idea of friendship, trust, understanding, courage, and personal growth remain meaningful long after the final scene. This theme are timeless, which is why the story continues to inspire new generations of viewers. When I look back at everything the movie accomplishes, it is clear that How to Train Your Dragon 2025 is much more than a visual spectacle. It is a story about finding your place in the world, believing in yourself, and having the courage to challenge ideas that no longer make sense. That message alone would make the movie worth watching, but when combined with memorable characters, beautiful visuals, emotional storytelling, and a powerful friendship between Hiccup and Toothless, the result becomes something truly special. This is the kind of movie that reminds us why stories matter. They help us understand ourselves, understand others, and imagine a better future. And that is exactly what How to Train Your Dragon 2025 does from beginning to end. Now let's talk even more deeply about why the emotional journey of this movie works so well, and why audience become attached to this character so quickly. A great movie is not remembered only because of its action scene or visual effects. A great movie is remembered because of the emotions it creates. When audiences leave the theater, they may forget certain scenes, but they never forget how a movie made them feel. That is exactly where How to Train Your Dragon 2025 succeeds. From the opening moments, the film establishes a world where fear controls many decisions. The people of work have spent their entire lives believing that dragons are dangerous enemies. This belief has become part of their culture, traditions, and identity. Most people never stop to question it because it is simply accepted as truth. Hiccup, however, is different. He is curious enough to ask questions that others avoid. He wants to understand the world around him instead of blindly accepting everything he is told. This curiosity becomes one of his most important qualities. The movie presents curiosity as a strength rather than a weakness. In many situations, curiosity leads to discovery, understanding, and growth. Because Hiccup is willing to learn, he is able to see possibilities that other cannot see. This idea becomes especially important when he meets Toothless, what brings as an unexpected encounter gradually develops into a friendship that changes both of their lives forever. The movie takes its time building this relationship, allowing every interaction to feel meaningful. On the on the one of the reason this friendship feels so believable is because both characters are vulnerable. Hiccup struggles with confidence while Toothless struggles with trust. Neither character is perfect. Both have fears, both have weakness. By helping each other overcome these challenges, they become stronger together. This is one of the movie's most important messages. Real friendship is not about perfection, it is about supporting each other during difficult times. It is about understanding someone's faults and crying about them anyway. The bond between Hiccup and Toothless represents this idea beautifully. Another major theme explored throughout the story is communication. Many of the conflicts in the movie happens because characters fail to understand one another. Assumption, fear, and misunderstanding create barriers between people. As the story progresses, these barriers slowly begin to disappear. Characters start listening instead of judging. They began asking questions instead of making assumptions. Assumptions. This process is not always easy, but is ultimately leads to strong relationship and greater understanding. The relationship between Hiccup and Stoic perfectly demonstrate this theme. Both characters care deeply about each other, but they often struggle to communicate their feeling. Stoic wants his son to succeed, while Hiccup wants his father approval. Because they see the world differently, misunderstanding naturally occur. Watching them gradually learn to understanding each other creates some of the most emotional moments in the movie. The relationship, their relationship feels authentic because it reflects challenges that many families experience in real life. Astrid also contributes significantly to the story emotional depth. She begins the movie with certain beliefs and expectations, but her experiences encourage her to reconsider them. This growth feels natural because it happens gradually over time. The movie understands the meaningful change rarely happens instantly. People need time to learn, reflect, and grow. By showing this process realistically, the film creates characters that feel believable and relatable. Visually, the movie continues to inspire with its attention to detail. Every dragon feels unique, every location feels alive. The world of work is filled with small details that make it feel like a real palace rather than a fictional setting. The production design helps immerse viewer in the story. The architecture, clothing, ships, and landscapes all work together to create a believable environment. This attention to detail strengthens the audience connection to the world and characters. The action scenes are exciting, but they never lose sight of the story's emotional core. Every major sequence serves a narrative purpose. The action is included simply to entertain. It also helps reveal character traits, relationship, and personal growth. This balance between a spectacle and substance is one of the movie's greatest achievement. Many films excel in one area but struggle in the other. How to Train Your Dragon 2025 managed to succeed in both. The flying scene remain among the most unforgettable moments in the entire movie. These sequences combine stunning visuals, beautiful music, and emotional storytelling to create something truly magical. Watching Hiccup and Toothless fly together feel like watching pure freedom brought to life. These scenes also symbolize the growth of their friendship. Early in the story, both characters are limited by fear and uncertainty. As their bond becomes stronger, they gain the confidence to explore new possibilities and embrace the unknown. The soundtrack plays a uh, essential role in making this moment memorable. Music has the ability to communicate emotional in ways with words sometimes cannot. The score enhances every important scene and helps audience feel more connected to the character. As the story moves forward, its later stage, the emotional stakes continue to increase. Characters face difficult choices, relationships are tested, long held beliefs are challenged. Through it all, the movie remains focused on its central theme of friendship, understanding, trust, and acceptance. These themes give the story a timeless quality. No matter when someone watch the movie, the region remain relevant. People will always connect with stories about friendship, family, courage, and personal growth. That is why How to Train Your Dragon 2025 feels so special. It is not just about dragon or adventure, it is about the choices people make when faced with fear. It is about finding the courage to be yourself. It is about learning to understand other even when they seem different from you. And most importantly, it is about discovering that true strength often comes not from fighting but from compassion, empathy, and the willingness to build connection where other only see division. Now, after discussing the themes, characters, and emotional journey of the film, I want to focus on something that makes How to Train Your Dragon 2025 stand above many other adventure movies. That is, its ability to make the audience care deeply about every important moment. Many movies try to create excitement through larger battles and impressive visual effects. While those elements are certainly present here, the movie understands that a spectacle alone is not enough. If the audience does not care about the characters, then even the biggest action scene will have very little impact. That is why the movie spends so much time developing its character before asking viewers to care about their struggles. By the time major events began happening, audience the already understanding who these characters are, what they want, and what they are afraid of losing. Hiccup remains the emotional central of the story. This journey is not only about changing the world around him, it is also about changing how he sees himself. At the beginning, he constantly compares himself to other Vikings. He noticed how strong they are, how confident they seem, and how easily they fit into society. Because of this, Hiccup often feels inadequate. He believes that he is failing to meet the expectations placed upon him. This feeling creates a strong emotional connection with the audience because many people understand what it feels like to doubt themselves. As the story progresses, Hiccup slowly learns that his value does not come from being like everyone else. This his value comes from the unique qualities that make him different. His intelligence, empathy, creativity, and willingness to understand others become his greatest strength. This message is one of the most powerful aspects of the movie. It encourages viewers to embrace their individuality rather than hide it. Instead of changing himself to fit the world, Hiccup helps change the world through his example. The friendship between Hiccup and Toothless continues to be the heart of this transformation. Their relationship is built on mutual trust, respect, and loyalty. Neither character could complete their journey alone. What makes their friendship so extraordinary is the fact that it develops without needing many words. The movie relies heavily on visual storytelling. A simple look, a moment, or a gesture often communicates more emotion than a long conversation. This approach required tremendous confidence from the filmmakers. Instead of explaining every emotion directly, they trust the audience to understand what the characters are feeling. This creates a more impressive experience because viewers become active par- participants in the storytelling process. Toothless deserves special recognition because he is one of the most ex- expressive non-speaking character ever created in modern fantasy cinema. His personality shines through in every scene where he is curious, playful, protective, and determined. Audience always understand what he is feeling. Another important strength of the movie is its exploration of leadership. Throughout the story, Hiccup gradually learns what it means to lead others. At first, he believes leadership is about strength and authority. Over time, however, he discovers that true leadership comes from listening, understanding, and helping others become their best selves. This lesson is particularly important because it challenges traditional ideas about heroism. The movie suggests that kindness and compassion can be just as powerful as physical strength. In many ways, these qualities are even more important because they help create lasting change. The relationship between Hiccup and Stoic continues to evolve as well. Their story is one of the most emotional complex part of the film. Both characters love each other deeply, but they struggle to communicate effectively. Stoic as spent his entire life following Cretan traditions and belief. Because of this, expecting new ideas is difficult for him. Yet, as he belongs seeing the world through Hiccup's eyes, he slowly learns that strength can take many different forms. The development gives the movie additional emotional weight. The story is not simply about defeating enemies, it is about overcoming misunderstandings and building a strong relationship. These emotional victories often feel more satisfying than the action scenes themselves. Astrid continues to play an essential role in the process. Her growth throughout the movie demonstrates the importance of keeping a open mind as she gains new experiences. Her perspective changes, allowing her to understand situations in ways she never could before. The world building also deserves praise because it makes Burke feel like a real community. Every character, building, and location contribute to the atmosphere of the story. The audience gets the scene that life continues in this world even when the camera is focused elsewhere. This attention to detail helps create immersion. Viewers are not simply watching a story, they feel like they are visiting another world. That scene of immersion is one reason why the movie remains so engaging from beginning to end. Visually, the movie is consistently stunning. The cinematography captures the beauty of landscape while also emphasizing the emotional of the character. Wide shots create a scene of scale and wonder, while close-up shots help viewers connect with the character on a personal level. The flying sequence continue to be among the most memorable scene in the film. These moments combine breathtaking visuals, powerful music, and emotional storytelling into something truly magical. Every fight feels like a celebration of freedom, friendship, and discovery. The soundtrack enhances this scene beautifully. Music serves as an emotional guide throughout the movie, helping audience connect more deeply with the story. Whether the scene is exciting, emotional, hopeful, or dramatic, the score always feels perfectly matched to the moment. As the narrative continues moving forward, the theme becomes even more powerful. Ideas about trust, understanding, acceptance, empathy, and courage are woven into every aspect of the story. These themes give the movie a depth that many adventure films never achieve. By this point, it becomes clear that How to Train Your Dragon 2025 is not simply trying to enter audience, it is trying to inspire them. It encourages viewers to be curious, compassionate, and brave. It reminds them that real change often begins with a single person who is willing to change old ideas and imagine a better future. That message remains one of the movie's greatest strength and one of the reasons why audiences around the world continue to connect with this incredible story. Now, as we continue this review, I want to talk about why the emotional storytelling in How to Train Your Dragon 2025 feels so powerful compared to many other modern fantasy films. A lot of movies today focus on creating bigger action scenes, larger battles, and more visual spectacle. While those things can be exciting, they do not automatically create an emotional connection. Audience remember movies when they care about the characters, and that is exactly where this film succeed. The movie understands that every great adventure begins with a character searching for something in a cupcake. He is searching for acceptance, purpose, and a place where he truly belongs. He wants people to understand him, but he also wants to understand himself. This internal struggle makes Hiccup a incredible, relatable character. Many people spend years trying to figure out who they are. They often feel pressure to meet expectations created by family, friends, or society. Hiccup experienced the same challenge throughout the movie. What makes his journey inspiring is that he eventually learns that he does not need to become someone else in order to be valuable. Instead, he learns to embrace the qualities that make him unique. His compassion, curiosity, intelligence, and empathy become the tools that help him change the world around him. The movie presents this lesson in a natural and believable way. Hiccup is not suddenly transformed into a perfect hero. He continues making mistakes and facing challenges. However, each challenge teaches him something important about himself and the people around him. The friendship between Hiccup and Toothless remains one of the strongest examples of the character development in the entire film. At first, they are connected only by circumstance. Over time, however, they become connected by trust, loyalty, and genuine affection. One reason audience love Toothless so much is because he feels authentic. Even though he is a danger created through visual effects, his emotional feel real, his reactions are believable, his behavior is understandable, and his personality shines through everything. The relationship between Hiccup and Toothless teaches an important lesson about understanding others. The movie suggests that fear often comes from misunderstanding. When people take the time to learn about each other, they frequently discover that their differences are not as large as they originally believed. This theme extends beyond the friendship between Hiccup and Toothless. It influences nearly every major relationship in the movie. Characters repeatedly learn that assumptions can be misleading and that understanding requires effort and patience. The bond between Hiccup and Stoic is another example of this idea. Their relationship is complicated because both characters care deeply about each other, yet they struggle to communicate effectively. A Stoic wants his son to be strong and res- respected, while Hiccup wants to be accepted for who he truly is. Neither desire is wrong, but their different perspective create tension and misunderstanding. Watching these characters gradually learn from one another is one of the most rewarding parts of the story. Their relationship involves in a realistic way, making their emotional moments feel earned rather than forced. Astrid also undergoes significant growth throughout the movie. She begins with a clear understanding of how she believes the world works, but new experiences challenges those beliefs. Instead of ignoring this information, she chooses to learn and adapt. This willingness to change is one of the movie's most important messages. Growth requires humility. It requires people to admit that they do not know everything. Characters like Esther demonstrate that learning and changing are sign of strength rather than weakness. The world of work continues to feel rich and immersive. Every location contributes to the story's atmosphere. The village feels lived in, the landscape feel expansive, and the environment helps reinforce the themes of adventure and discovery. The dangers also play an important role in creating this scene of wonder. Each species has its own behavior, appearance, and personality. This variety makes the world feel larger and more believable, giving viewers the sense that countless adventures exist beyond the story being told. Visually, the movie remains consistently impressive. The cinematography captures both the beauty of natural world and emotional experience of the characters. The filmmakers use lighting, movement, and composition to create scenes that are visually striking and emotionally meaningful. The flying sequence deserve special attention because they represent the emotional heart of the movie. Every fight between Hiccup and Toothless symbolizes freedom, trust, and possibility. The moments remind viewers that life becomes more meaningful when people are willing to move beyond fear and embrace new experiences. The soundtrack enhances this scene perfectly. Music has the power to communicate emotions that words sometimes cannot express. The score elevates every important moment, helping audience feel excitement, joy, sadness, hope, and wonder alongside the characters. As the narrative progresses, the stakes continue to increase, challenges become more serious, decisions become more difficult, and the relationship become more important. Yet, despite these larger conflicts, the movie never loses focus on its central message. That message is simple but powerful. Understanding is stronger than fear. Compassion is stronger than hatred. Trust is stronger than suspicion. And friendship has the power to change lives. These ideas give the movie a timeless quality that allows it to connect with audience of different ages and backgrounds. Children can enjoy the adventure and dragons, while older viewers can appreciate the deeper themes and emotional complexity. By this stage of the film, it becomes obvious that How to Train Your Dragons 2025 is much more than just a fantasy adventure. It is a story about personal growth, family, friendship, courage, and the importance of seeing the world through a more understanding and compassionate perspective. And that is one of the main reasons why the movie continues to leave such a strong emotional impression on everyone who watch it. Now, after spending so much time talking about the character and themes, I want to focus on something that truly spreads How to Train Your Dragon 2025 from many other fantasy adventure films. The movie never forgets that the audience emotional connection is its greatest strength. Many big budget movies spend hundreds of millions creating larger action scene and more impressive visual effects. While those things can be entertaining, they often become meaningless if viewers do not care about the people involved. This movie takes the opposite approach. It makes the audience care about the characters first and then uses that emotional investment to make every major scene feel important. The result is a story where even the smallest moments can have tremendous effect. A quiet conversation, a simple smile, or a brief interaction between Hiccup and Toothless can sometimes feel more meaningful than the largest action sequence. That level of emotional storytelling is not easy to achieve. It requires patience, strong writing, and a clear understanding of what makes audience connect with characters. Fortunately, this movie succeeds in all of those areas. One of the most interesting aspects of Hiccup journey is how it explores self-discovery. At the beginning of the story, Hiccup spends a lot of time comparing himself to other people. He noticed their strength and constantly focused on his own weakness. This habit prevents him from recognizing his true potential. Like many people, he assumes that success means becoming more like everyone else. However, as the story progresses, he learns a important lesson. Success does not come from copying others. It comes from understanding who you are and using your unique strength to make a difference. This lesson feels especially relevant because many viewers experience similar struggles in their own lives. People often feel pressure to meet expectations or fit into certain roles. Hiccup story reminds audience that Being different can be a strength rather than a weakness. The friendship between Hiccup and Toothless reinforce this message beautifully. Both characters are different from what their words expect them to be, yet those differences allow them to create a bond that changes everything around them. Their friendship continues to develop throughout the movie in ways that feel natural and believable. There are no shortcuts. Trust is earned through action rather than words. As respect grows through shared experience, loyalty develops through challenges and sacrifices. Because the movie invest so much time in building this relationship, audience become deeply attached to it. Every success feel rewarding because viewers understand how much effort went into creating that bond. Every challenges feel significant because they know what is at stake. Ruthless remains one of the movie's greatest achievement, creating a non-speaking character who feels this expressive require extraordinary attention to detail through animation, movement, and visual performance. Toothless becomes a fully realized character with emotions, desire, fears, and personality. The movie also does an excellent job showing how relationship can change people from the better. Hiccup influence Toothless, but Toothless influence Hiccup just as much. Their friendship is balanced because both characters learn from one another. Another major strength of the film is its treatment of leadership. Many stories portray leaders as individuals who commanded others through strength or authority. How to Train Your Dragons 2025 presents a different idea. The movie suggested that true leadership comes from empathy, understanding, and service. Hiccup becomes a leader not because he is the strongest person in work, but because he is willing to listen, learn, and help others see new possibilities. This perspective makes his growth particularly inspiring. He does not gain influence through fear, instead, he earns respect by demonstrating compassion and integrity. These qualities make him a role model for both younger and older viewers. The relationship between Hiccup and Stoic remains one of the emotional foundation of the movie. Their story highlights how difficult communication can sometimes be, especially between family members who have different expectations. Yet the movie never presents either character as completely right or completely wrong. Both have understandable motivations. Both care deeply about each other. Their challenges come from misunderstanding rather than lack of love. This complexity makes their relationship feel authentic. Audience can relate to the idea of wanting approval from someone important while also wanting to remain true to themselves. Watching this character grow closer, our theme creates some of the film's most memorable emotional moments. Astrid also continues to demonstrate impressive growth. She is intelligent, determined, and willing to challenge her own assumption. Her development reinforced the movie message that learning and changing are sign of strength rather than weakness. The visual presentation remains ex- expect exceptional throughout the film. The landscape are breathtaking, the dragons are beautifully designed, and the action sequences are exciting without overwhelming the story. Every visual element serve a purpose and contribute to the overall experience. The flying scene remain among the greatest highlight of the movie. These moments create a feeling of freedom that is different to describe. Watching Hiccup and Toothless soar through the sky reminds audience of the joy that comes from exploration and discovery. So, friends, How to Train Your Dragon 2025 is not just a dragon movie, it is a story about friendship, trust, courage, and understanding. My final rating for this movie is 9 out of 10. Now, tell me in the comments what was your favorite moment and which dragon did you like the most. If you enjoyed this review, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more movie reviews. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you. Goodbye.